So it's launch time for Ping. They've got a new set of irons out and it's the i240, and we're going to take a look at them in this video. So the i240 from Ping is going to replace obviously the i230. Previous to that was the i210. This typical model iron hasn't or doesn't change quickly. Maybe like the G series irons, we probably see like an 18-month, maybe 2-year sort of cycle. These are probably around the 3, maybe edging up to 4-year sort of cycles. So they don't change these quickly, do Ping, and very much a tour-driven iron. Lots of players on tour use them. Very popular in the LPGA Tour as well with the ladies. It's a great looking iron. It's a great feeling iron, or it has been in the past. This is probably going to be very, very similar, if not better, hopefully. But a great looking iron. Truer lofts. A little bit of forgiveness is now what we're saying in the i240, especially in those mid to long irons. We're going to obviously run through the tech, and we're going to hit a 4-iron, a 7-iron and a pitching wedge, and give you some numbers of all of those 3 irons from TrackMan. So I just want to quickly butt in and thank again to our channel sponsors, ELG. They provide high quality football themed head covers and accessories so you can follow your favourite football team out on the golf course. They give me a discount code which gives you 15% off anything through their website. All the links are in the description below. Go and check it out, and let's jump back to the video. Okay, so let's obviously first of all look at the back of the iron. It's a little bit different. We saw the i230, a little bit more of a filled in back section. The traditional cavity has sort of come back now in the i240, but again, it's quite a nice sort of look, I think, from the back of it. Put it into the playing position, and we're seeing some similar looks to we've seen before. It's a little bit compact. It's not super thin top line. It's not a lot of offset on there, but it's a beautiful sort of shape. So it's a good shaped iron. Nothing that's too small, maybe like you would see in the blueprint, but this is, it's a nice shape. It's a nice compact head. We've got that white groove on the leading edge. We see in all Ping irons. Oh, that's a gorgeous feel. And again, I will say we have seen that sort of feel. It's not a forged product, but it feels quite soft like a forged product. This is a 7-iron I'm hitting at the moment. We're going to kick things off that. We're going to look at the 4-iron and the pitch wedge, as we mentioned. Maybe see some numbers there, because the long irons a little bit different on what they've done in the tech and the head on those longer irons. A little bit more forgiving, a little bit more higher launching. But the 7-iron here coming at 33 degrees of loft. So it's sitting in more of that traditional lofting area. So if you're looking for pure distance and power and ball speed, this probably isn't the iron you want to be looking at. You probably want to go into i530, or if anything, G440 to get a little bit more of that ball speed. So this is more aimed around consistency, spin number, control, land angle, all those elements with a little bit of that consistent sort of spin as well. Yeah, it's a lovely high flight. I can tell that's got a bit of control and a little bit of spin on that golf ball, just how that ball sort of flies. Yeah, 6,000 revs, just the one before was just over 6,000, 7-iron, that's like very acceptable. You can see land angle at 49 degrees, so we can see we're going to get some pretty decent stopping power from this iron. It's exactly what it's trying to do, is that. So as we mentioned, this isn't a forged head, but you do get some really good feel with that. And how they've done that in the past and how they've done it in this one as well is there's an elastomer insert inside the head, a little bit deeper in the actual head. So as you look in the cavity at the back, it's like a little sort of squared off area at the bottom. That's basically where that elastomer is sitting in there. Lighter material, save some weight there. That weight is obviously going to be redistributed probably into the perimeter of the golf club here, which is increasing the MOI, the forgiveness. 2.5% is what Ping are saying. This is an increase of MOI from the previous i230. That's a little bit off the toe, but the flight doesn't look any different to the first 2 I've just hit. Yeah, and the carry distance within a yard or so of the last 2, definitely a little bit more toe side. Spin is still in that right area. So the other big change really that's happening, and we're going to look into this 4-iron maybe as I'm talking through this now, is we're seeing a little bit more of a higher launching in the 4-iron to 7-iron. So in those mid-irons, a little bit more ease of use, especially when you go into those long irons like the 4-iron as I'm mentioning, a little bit more higher launch. And typically you see that a lot on tour, don't we? We tend to see sort of golfers play a certain iron, and then in that long iron they might play something that's a little bit more bulky, a bit more deeper weight that's going to flight that golf ball. So Ping are blending that through this particular set to help those long irons to launch a little bit more and a little bit softer landing as they come in to that green. And a very much tour inspired shape of the head is what Ping are saying. and we've still got some very Ping-like characteristics. The little notch on the back of the head, that's to help them move light a little bit easier. And then you can see we've got that tungsten screw in the toe section, again helping with that MOI, moving that weight in the perimeters. A little bit of a left to right shape on that particular one. Again, I think that spin number will be in the 6,000s. Oh, just under. Again, just short of 170 carry. So some nice front to back dispersion numbers there. Exactly what this iron is trying to sort of promote. So definitely not for an iron who's, as I mentioned before, trying to get more ball speed, more distance, but somebody who wants a little bit more control and a bit more consistency. So probably that sort of, I would say, you know, that sort of mid to, you know, pro level golfer could easily play that, to be honest. Mid handicapper, just as long as that ball striking is relatively consistent, not massively wanting distance from the shot, but just that little bit more control. Beautiful. Really quite enjoyed hitting that, to be honest. That control, the front to back looks really tight there with that 7-iron. Probably a difference from the shortest to the longest of about probably 3-4 yards there, which is brilliant on those hits. Floating around that 6,000 spin, consistent. Lang angle definitely more consistent as well. And I have hit a couple, or one there definitely was a little bit more toe-it, and it did really well as well. And I'm just looking at the specs available on the i240. So obviously right and left hand all day along with Ping, you're always going to get that. And it's a 3-iron all the way through to pitch wedge and a U wedge in there as well. Standard lofts, as I mentioned, 7-iron 33 degree, the 4-iron's 22.5 degrees, the pitching wedge is coming out at 45. So quite traditional on the loft in there. But you've also got the option of the power spec, which is a stronger loft version. So if you do want a little bit of a slightly lower flight, maybe a little bit more ball speed, the power spec is an option. Also a retro spec. So if you do want more loft again, if you're trying to get a flight up or maybe a little bit more spin and control from your certain delivery. So some great options there from Ping to cover, depending on how you deliver the golf ball, what you're wanting out of that ball flight. So if you just look at a little bit of data on those shots, you can see I've got the pitcher wedge in the orange, 7-iron blue, and the 4-iron is white. So really happy with the gap in. Obviously the pitcher wedge should be pretty tight, to be honest. The 7-iron was really tight there, what I hit, which I really sort of enjoyed. The 4-iron, as you expect, maybe that longer club, your left to right dispersion, typically with a lot of golfers will just spread a little bit more. But look at the front to back, again, it's relatively tight for that long iron, which I really sort of like. And then sort of looking at the numbers, not quite in the right order here. I've got the 7-iron at the top, then the wedge, and the 4-iron, but you can see the gapping's pretty good there as we work through. You can see the spin with the 4-iron around that 4,000 mark. So a little bit more spin with that slightly higher launch. That's the control aspect in that longer iron. So you can see the peak height at 95 feet. The pitching wedge was 92 feet. The 7-iron was 107. So we can see land angle's pretty good. That 4-iron I'm quite impressed with, to be honest. Good sort of carry number for me. Nice sort of gap in between those three golf clubs. And really doing a sort of really good job there, I feel. There's another winner, I feel, from Ping, the i240. Post comments below, let me know your thoughts on that launch, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.